Good evening, Anderson. Well, what we've learned from a senior U.S. official is that the U.S. military and intelligence community does now have the communications intercepts of the Syrian military and chemical experts talking about preparations for that sarin attack. Now, what officials are emphasizing is the U.S. had no knowledge ahead of time, but they scoop up a lot of intercepts. And once the attack happened, they started going back through all the intelligence that they had and were able to isolate, knowing the time, date, and place of where the attack happened. Then were able to isolate the intercepts they had on hand, look at them, and get the evidence that, yes, the Syrians had been communicating amongst themselves about planning and preparation for the attack. And really, Defense Secretary James Mattis hinted at that yesterday when he talked about, so-called ironclad evidence, if you will, that the Syrians had planned and executed the attack. So the big unknown still remains, will they come up with similar intercepts or information indicating that the Russians were involved? They don't have intercepts on that at this point. One of the things they're still looking very hard at is that there was a Russian drone flying over the hospital that got bombed about 5 hours after that drone flew. The theory is at this point the Russian drone flew, saw the people there being treated for their injuries, and then an additional airstrike was called in on that hospital. President Trump talking about this today, saying that he wanted the Pentagon to look into it and find out exactly what went on, how complicit the Russians may have been in all of this. But it does look like they're further able now, several days later, to put the pieces together. Still, just emphasizing the U.S. didn't know about it ahead of time, but as they went back and looked through what they had, they were able to get some of this additional intelligence.
Barbara, just to be clear on that Russian drone, you're saying that was after the chemical attack, but before there was a second bombing, conventional bombing after the chemical attack. Is that correct?
And to be clear, officials have talked about this over the last several days. So you had the initial dropping of a chemical bomb. People are injured. They try and go to a hospital clinic area to get treatment. That's some of the video and pictures that the world has seen over the last several days. That hospital medical clinic, there was a Russian drone flying over it, collecting intelligence. About 5 hours later, an unidentified aircraft comes in, drops a conventional bomb right in that area. The theory is the drone was photographing, collecting the evidence, the pictures of the people being there being treated. Whoever called in that second unidentified aircraft wanted the evidence destroyed of injured people being there. And that drone that collected that evidence, the U.S. officials say, was a Russian drone.